How about Sturgia? Can we have... Seriously? We can't have war with anybody. This is unreal. This is... Man, I can't remember ever seeing a situation where a kingdom was so pacifistic about their outcomes here. The Nords aren't close. I can't imagine. Not a single kingdom we can have war with, and this is 2 weeks of this going on. You know what? To hell with that shit. We're gonna make our own kingdom, but I think before we do that, we're gonna cause war the old-fashioned way here. I still want Legetta to be part of our kingdom, right? Our fledgling kingdom. So let's, before we start committing war atrocities, let's start a new episode right here. All right, friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. Welcome back to Rise of the Rhodoks. This overhaul mod dramatically changes Bannerlord. It adds the Rhodoks, so those of you who want to relive the nostalgia of the original RHODOK rebellion can do so now with Calradia, with war sales, right? We've got these great units here thanks to Jarl Snow in this overhaul mod. We are using nightmare sales as well. We've got a couple mods that are making this campaign extra hard, and we need the challenge at this stage, right? Because our character is starting to... Well, he's not just looking like a badass. Our army is looking like a badass. And let's update you on the last, let's see, probably 2 months worth of gameplay, an hour and a half of gameplay. The last half hour has been excruciating because we have been locked into permanent peace. I'm not exaggerating. It doesn't matter who I want war with here. All of these kingdoms, the war declaration is low. It doesn't matter if it's our neighbors. It doesn't matter if it's with even the Valandians. They refuse to go to war with, and this has been going on for about 2 weeks. We were worse. We were halfway through the siege of Legetta, and then all of a sudden the council decided it was a good idea to have peace with Legetta as well. So you can only gather food and put troops into your garrison for so long, right? We've been preparing for war. Now we need a target for our fist. So I've recruited this force here, and they won't go to war with Britannia either. I've got some ideas in today's episodes. In fact, here's Grunwalder right here. Of course, he's been seizing all of the cities. Every city that we took Maranath, we took Pencannock. He's like, oh yeah, thanks for the cities, and then he overruled us on each and every one of those for the vote. So if you can't have war the old-fashioned way, if the council overrules your shit, in fact... Let me see this caravan guy. Woe be those that get in the way right now of our enraged character, RHODOK. In fact, I think we'll have to have a name change in today's episode. You know what? We're just going to have a long, rambling play session here. I'm going to play for a couple hours and just keep recording. Don't do that very often because a lot of times I want to edit stuff, but the action here should be fast and furious. Yeah. You won't give us peace with the Britannians, huh? Yeah, well, let's go into the town here. Yeah, we'd like to talk to your villagers, bring out some sons. Actually, go ahead and bring out all your sons. No, we're not asking. Bring out your notables, bring out your sons for recruitment. The village elders balk at your demand. He says they might resist. Kill them all. We'll take him the old-fashioned way then, right? And then I love it says Grunwalder. Grunwalder declares war on the Britannians. He's like, I did what? No, I didn't. I didn't want to do that shit. And just for good measure here and shit, let's raid their village for a few hours, set some shit on fire. We're going to cause some warfare in this campaign. And of course, it's hurting our reputation. I think it said we have a criminal rating now too. We give no fucks. We've got a huge force. In fact, if we go independent, we'll lose this influence anyways. Let's call our together a huge army here to siege Legetta. We can, I tell you what, we'll skip the guys who have the birth control mustaches, the guys who just look like dipshits, but all the rest of these units we'll take, right? These guys here, we'll take their wives, right? And so we just used most of our influence. That's all right, because when you go independent, you lose your influence. In fact, I'm realizing... We have a mod where even your own companions, say I let my wife go here, if I try to add her back to the army, it's not free, right? She's demanding influence to join our army. That's obviously not how it normally is. You can call companions and wives and whatnot back to your family, and there are no problem with it. And what's this? They have a problem. Our troops are getting uncomfortable with our party leader. Well, you guys haven't seen anything yet. In fact, let's go ahead and just make this part official here too. We're getting deserters, but that's temporary, right? Eventually here, we're going to have battle. Where do I want to do this? I want to do it right here. We can do it right here. Let's make this shit official. Just so everybody's clear on our intentions. Mad King. And we got a nice little quaint village right here, too. Montos. Well, you're the next village to receive the wrath of the Mad King. How's it going there, villagers? Take some hostile action. We raid. The villagers gather around to defend their land. As a result of your hostile intentions, they might declare war. Yes, they might indeed declare war, right? We raid their shit. Set some of their shit on fire. And now we've got warfare, right? They won't give us war. We get a criminal rating. They won't give us war in the traditional way, right? They're declaring war is low, but we're going to get it the old-fashioned way, right? We're going to get it through straight belligerent pugnacity, right? We're just going to fight people. In fact, there's a little Valandian caravan right there, right? This guy here. Yeah. We talk to you. We'd like to do some trading. Hey, over there. Hand over your goods or die. And he's like, look, you're a huge army. Just take some money. I want everything you got. And he's like, we can't fight you, you scum. Take everything you want. We want your lives. Don't bother pleading. Don't bother pleading for your lives. Adam lads, right? Our troops cheer as caravan guards and armed traders get massacred. And the Mad King has just arrived on scene in this campaign. You gotta roleplay a little bit in Bannerlord, right? It's the perfect venue for just being an absolutely murderous, tyrannical despot. And now let's commit some atrocities here. Now, in reality, I want this city, right? This city is pretty rich. 5,000 prosperity. It looks like it has a lot of food in it. We want that to be our prosperity and our food. So I don't know if we'll get voted for this. If we don't get voted for this, we're definitely going to try to take it once we're independent. And we got a criminal rating. All kinds of negative shit is happening to our reputation here, and our character gives no fucks, right? He's just like the ultimate pugnacious warlord. And the king is probably going to have to make an army. Now, we're actually going to have problems keeping this army together here unless I take this city quick, so let's build these siege weapons quickly. I don't have a lot of influence now to maintain this army size. But at the same point, I want them to try to at least destroy the fire catapult. And we should win at siege, right? We have definitively better siege skill than like a little garrison here. And damn, they just got that catapult built. I think we'll wait until that fire... Is it a fire catapult too? It's a fire catapult, right? So let's let our guys shell that fire catapult. Should be quick. About to build another one here. We might have to wait until night. We still got a little sliver of red there. And it's not the worst thing in the world if our army disassembles after this, right? Because we're going to head straight into independence after this. And they keep building a catapult right as we're about to destroy the previous one. All right, right here. Here we go. That's a good setup. And we've got an overwhelming force here, but we're still going to fight intelligently, right? We've got 120 upgrades to do with this force. And we're going to be able to blast through this city. But there's no reason for us to auto-resolve here. There's 1,100 defenders here. Now, our main character, we've started to use javelins. Only doing that because I want a well-rounded character, right? We've been adding some one-handed skill. In fact, we're using a Falx right now. So it's probably unrecognizable if you've been watching our character throughout this campaign. We're giving him more versatile skill set. That way he can help his army more. You get all kinds of perks from that skill set. Now, let's put this on, too. That looks exactly like the Mad King, right? He's looking out of his little slits, and all he sees is red. Leading assault. All right, now, Legetta, I'm trying to think of the layout, has that right side that protrudes out. I think that's Legetta, either Rotai or Legetta. Yeah, this side over here. We're going to try to overwhelm that with the siege tower. So let's move our siege tower over. We're still going to approach these tactically. We're not just going to throw ourselves in. Our guy is crazy like the fox, right? He's not stupid. He's just going to be a pugnacious asshole. Now, our first division, okay, that looks good. Our second division's a slinger division. And let's put... It doesn't matter too much where we put these companions, but we do want all of our divisions to at least have a noble in charge with the perk list like that. That looks good. Something like that. And then the rest of our troops here can go there. All right, so put the 4th division on the ram. They just need to push it to the wall. Let's put the 8th division here. And then we have the 2nd, 5th, That's a lot of troops. And 6th Division over there. Over here can be the 1st and the 7th. Of course, we have a lot of troops because we badly outnumber the enemy here. So 1st, 7th, 2nd, 5th, 6th. I like it. And then the 3rd Division, they can go over the wall and draw some fire for us. That fire catapult presumably will be able to pound the enemy on the walls there. And I'm not going to ride a horse very often, but occasionally it makes sense, right? We can bring our forces to bear here in a hurry. Let's get this 2nd Division right here. We're just going to blast the way through this city. Even though there's 1,200 defenders, we just have a huge force.
Stand up! Moving forward!
Yeah, we've got a fire catapult raining on these guys. And this 3rd Division, they can go over the wall, right? We want at least some attention right to that left side. That way our right side here is a lot less defended, right? If you make an approach to only one side of the city, that side tends to get defended a lot more heavily. And look at, there's a serious assault going on to that left side. I'm not thrilled about the fire catapult guy shooting over here, right? I'll be watching to see where that guy is targeting. He looks like he's targeting over there. And who knows what he's targeting. He looks like a dumbass. But that's okay, right? That's drawing a huge amount of attention. And we're pounding the enemy at range here. Of course, we have a ranged force, right? The Rhodoks are ranged force incarnate here. Let's send this 2nd Division over. And as soon as we got 30, 40 guys on that wall, we can also go up there. Of course, our guy's an amateur with javelins here. What the fuck? Get up this thing. Where'd that 2nd Division go? I know I told them to charge.
Hold fire!
I think there's too many guys that have... they have little slinging bags, right? So I told them to charge. And they're just now going up. That side looks good. We've just got a huge amount of cover fire here, too. Now, there's finally a lot of Landians that have just stacked up here.
Kill them all!
And we've got just murderous crossfire from our crossbow units. All right, let's see if we can go up this and bring an archer division or two. I don't know why you guys are coming down. We got some cowards today. Let's bring the 5th Division up here as well. You just tell everybody to get on the walls, right? Just swarm these walls. Our character's got some decent one-handed skill now, too, right? Again, you're doing that to well-round your characters. You don't need to do that in your campaign, but it's been pretty easy. Look at this fucking guy. He's throwing rocks. I like it. I just wish our guys would throw rocks. Oh shit. I think they're fucking throwing rocks at us. How about that variant? You don't see that very often. And you know what? We're going down. I actually see a weakness here. The main gate is not being defended. How do I get off this thing? I don't know if I can get off. We can go off this way. Our character's going to suffer some losses, but let's bring this 5th, 6th, 7th Division here. These guys can still go through the gate. There's so many troops now on both wings, and these guys did not break the gate, that we can simply go through the gate. I don't see any troops there at all behind the gate. So get these guys through this gate. And they're not Fiend champions for offensive ability, but they're pretty fucking capable. And never mind, there's a ton of troops here. Of course, the enemy has just tons of troops in general. But I still think we can shove this division right through here and get in the courtyard. Once we get behind them here, too, these guys can break out in the big shooting gallery. Of course, these guys are like, that's the guy! He killed our villagers! Yeah, we're going to do a lot worse than that once we get into your city, you fucks. Alright, those guys can spread out all over the place. Yeah, you legionaries. They're fast, man. Their weapons are fast as fuck. Of course, we're still playing Nightmare Seals. It's no joke. The units that you're fighting are ruthless. But we've got forces galore in here. These reinforcements look like they popped out in the middle of nowhere. In fact, now we're getting cut off by archers. But that other side is free now. And the enemy's starting to get carved up here. Second division can charge. In fact, everybody at this stage can charge. Every single guy can charge. We've got the enemy running for the fucking hills. And those guys fucking... Where'd they come from? Those guys came out of like a little hole in the wall. The Mad King is on scene, and you boys are in for some dismemberment. It's a beautiful scene, even more beautiful when there's a whole bunch of menstrual pink dead on the ground here. A bunch of dead Western Empire fucks. 1,100 1,100 dead. Yeah, that's better than 1,100 casualties. 300 casualties. That's a good result for us here. And I don't know if we're going to get voted for this city, but I think it's pretty likely. We've got a huge force. Maybe all that influence wrecking is going to take the city from us. We shall see. But that's a good start here to today's episode. Smash our way through. And it's good just to have war again. It's incredible, man. I can't remember the last time I had a campaign for a half hour. There was no warfare in this campaign. And there's no mods that were using that affect diplomacy. So that doesn't make, it doesn't make it likely that it was diplomacy based. We're maxed out for characters at this stage, the companions, and I'm not really going to talk too much about our companions in this campaign, right? We've got various different companions of skill, but most of them, they have some kind of specialty. This guy here is just an athletic bowman, and most of them aren't very high level, right? They're kind of dumbasses. We're pretty early from a time level in this campaign. We're about I want to say we're 2.5 years, give or take, into this campaign. So kind of on the early side here. Now, this army is going to break apart. I don't mind that, but I do want to keep at least our family members together here. So let's see how I do this. This is one of them. Give him some troops here. You got to make sure they're at 40%. Otherwise, you can't re-invite them to your army. And our wife is here too. And we have that other knucklehead, right? We've got another guy that we've been developing as a party leader. He's actually spec'd out pretty well for it. He's in here somewhere. I don't remember even what he looks like. Here he is. He's got the stupid helmet. Let's give him a couple 4 troops as well. All right, now we wait, basically, right? In fact, I can also just disassemble this force. It's going to break up on its own, but let's see what happens here. Come on, come on, come on. And we're not even on the vote. This is what I mean. Like, it's hard to understand. Maybe it's because we just trashed our influence, but we just don't seem to get voted for any cities. And he's taking them all. Look at that shit. We might be a mad king, but Grunwalder here has turned into a tyrant. We've got these 2 locations, and he's just been taking all the rest. What does he have? He has 6 fiefs, right? So to hell with him. We're going to become independent in this campaign. And right here is fine. Let's re-invite our family members. Let's take Davobard too. I've got an idea on how to get a minor clan in this campaign. And we can barely reform just our family army here. All right. We're going to head to Sargat. We've got to head to Sargat to make our own kingdom. And I realize I might need to reload the game here. I meant to just keep on playing, but... And I think we'll see what happens here. I don't think I can make an army as soon as I become independent. Normally, of course, it's free. You can make an army with no problem. But this is, I think, going to be a different situation. We've got We've got plenty of troops at Baron Castle. Let's leave some food there because this is about to get very messy. And we're trudging along carrying all this food, so. In it goes. Yeah, 5,000 food. We don't need that much. Of course, I was planning on dumping a lot of this food on Legetta if that was our city. Right now, I don't want to do that, right? Because the first thing we're going to do in Independence is go take Legetta. All right, so good-sized garrison there. We've got Davelbard here. And it's time to make our own kingdom here. Now, what's Grunwalder doing? The nice thing is he's going to be busy here, right? We might even be able to get peace with Britannia and then sneak into that city. Of course, initially we won't have any influence at all, right? Now, I actually want him to commit. I'm going to wait, right? This is just some simple strategy. Before you go independent, in a perfect world, you'd wait until he gets captured, right? There's a decent chance the Britannians will capture him there. Once he engages the siege, he might break away from it, but I think that's the right thing to do here. Now, before we become independent, we've got to have a governor. So let's go to the keep and we do something like this. And it doesn't matter too much. Any old person will do. Make sure that they are the governor. All right, now we go. Oops. How do we want to do this? I want to catch him. So we're gonna release him last. We do a little triangle here with our family members, right? That guy's going to hate us. So we do that. This guy released, and now right here, he gets dismissed. Our army is dispersed. Yeah, good. And then leave kingdom. And we're gonna keep all holdings. We're not gonna like that. All right. Yeah, see, we have 0 influence, and that means I don't think. Let's see what it looks like here. That might be an adjustment. Of course, we're going to make our kingdom naked, right? The naked and the mad. Perfect. And we've got nice, gentle music playing as our insane asylum opens season on the rest of the different kingdoms in Calradia. All right, now, I think this guy, yeah, see, he's right here. He can't even get away. Militia, Valandian militia. We're taking it. We want everything. Don't bother pleading for you. He's like, come on, dude, I'm just trying to sell some shit here. Now, Davelbard got sucked into that battle. We like that, right? We want to fight Davelbard here. I'm not sure we need to fight. I guess we'll just... He's going to probably sit back and hide. So let's not do that. Let's just auto-resolve. I don't need little tiny battles to be part of this episode. Let's see what kind of results this produces. Militia. The villagers get plowed. All right, now you are a prisoner. He's at our mercy here. And we like some of these troops, right? Some of these prisoners we can actually keep. So let me see here. Let's dump a bunch of this. These guys we can't use, right? So there's no point other than the influence, right? And right now we can't get influence, of course, because we're not a vassal. So let's take some of these troops here. Let's do it by tier. Something like that, right? We don't need to overdo it. All right, now I don't think I can make an army here because it takes influence to make an army. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, so this is not going to work. We're using this mod for difficulty, but this would be almost impossible difficulty. We would be starting our kingdom and not having any control over these armies here. So here's what I'm going to do, friends. We're going to have warfare, but I've got to take this mod off at least until, I don't know, at least until we get some influence in this campaign. I know I wanted to use this mod for the campaign, but when you first make a kingdom, especially, we're like at war with everybody, right? There's going to be hellacious enemies coming our direction. We've got to be able to make an army. So, all this warfare, what I'm going to do here is come back in this exact same spot, and then we will simply take that mod off and continue our independence run here. All right, and hopefully that's pretty seamless for you guys on your end. So Grunwalder, sieging. we can't participate. Right now, we're at war with Britannia. In fact, the Mad King, right? There's a lot of different people that don't like us right now. So in the short term, we need influence. There might be multiple ways for us to get influence. And if we get any influence at all, we're definitely going to ask the Britannians for peace. Of course, they might send a courier. If you look at their position, they don't have much territory. They're at war with us. They're at war with the RHODOK. There's a decent chance that they reach out and say, hey, what about peace? Now, we want to put some of these lower level troops into our kingdom, and you want to talk to this guy right here early on in our campaign. We don't have any friends, right? Of course, he may just instantly, yeah. Your rebellion against Grunwalder was an act of treason. Well, how about if we set you free, we can cure your smallpox and you can join our kingdom? I don't know if we have any chance here, but that's a good start, right? Critical success. You basically just got to answer these and hope you get lucky. And now he won't be able to join us, but we'll be able to invite his friends to the army. And we got lucky here, right? That's a pretty damn good start for us. So he wants money, of course, all these grubby guys. He needs to pay for the medical bills to fix his horrific smallpox situation there. But just like that, we get a friend in this campaign. Now, we don't have many friends, right? We have very few armies we can call, but we did get rid of that mod. And so the minor clans still appropriately cost influence, but your family members should be free. That's how it's supposed to be, and that makes sense. And I think early on here, I'm not going to call these guys to us, right? I can't afford it. I need the influence, and I've got to manage our city here briefly. We've got a good defense force here. I'm not really worried about it in the short term, but I want to grab some troops from it too and make sure it has lots of food. It does have a lot of food. Of course, we've been putting huge amounts of food here. I can just show you what that looks like. And then we're going to grab our angry looking governor here. He doesn't get to stay there. Look at this shit. We have 13,000 food here. So let's rain some food and sloppy joes on the citizens. That way it's a lot less likely that they have issues with starvation or loyalty. Of course, our loyalty is going down, right? If you're the citizens of this, you're not real certain what's going on here, right? The guy who's in charge seems insane. Let's sell some shit here. There should be a decent amount of money. 6,000. How come there's so few money here? I think maybe we just got paid for that food. Wait. How's it 90 grand? What, I just buy 200 horses or something? And come on, baby. Sometimes this little reset here takes a while. The system, they've refined this and cleaned this up lately, but it still seems to take a while. I see what I bought a bunch of very expensive horses. All right, so there's enormous amounts of food here. We'll take the luxury food. I want to keep looking for nice equipment here, right? There's some good equipment here. And we do have a smithy here, right? So we're making a little bit of money on the side. In the short term, though, let's sell some shit. All this warfare has given us just a silly amount of shit, actually. Let's, I don't even know what to do here. Let's just buy some armor with it. We've got so much equipment here that immediately we just take all the money from the city. All right, let's go to the keep. Let's grab like 100 good troops here. We probably should have stocked up a few more troops than this for this kind of a crazy intro into the campaign, but we're not averse to having a difficult challenge in this campaign. Make sure our ratio here of troops is good. Hopefully we don't have deserters here. Of course, I'm taking these extra troops to hopefully put onto their forces here, right? He can take 28. Not too important which troops, because these are all troops that I'll have access to anytime I want. I can just tell him, show me your troops. Same thing with our wife here, in fact. We might go get a few more troops. This is going to be brutal. We're going independent crazy early in nightmare sales. And this guy, all right, we can actually take on a few more troops here from our garrison. 600's not bad, but it's also not great, right? That's not a huge force, especially since it's going to be difficult for us to win battles where we're majorly outnumbered. What other troops do we have here? Crossbow's good. We probably want to lean towards crossbow. We're going to get our first battle here of RHODOK against RHODOK, right? Not right away, probably, although maybe. Right? If we can somehow get peace with Britannia now, this is a good potential start. Right? We need some influence. Yeah, these guys are fighting each other, or we'll kill whoever's left. That guy's attacking our guy. Oh no! Shit. come with us. It's going to take a while to pick up influence at 6 a pop. Who's this? Oh, these are Botanians. We'll treat them well. We'll take their troops, too. Now, prisoners don't interest me that much. We already have a lot of prisoners, but we'll definitely take troops. You know, at this stage, we'll take every single soldier from any kingdom, and we're not worried about desertion, right? Desertion is going to be just fine. Now, even if we can't get peace with Botania, what we can do is attack the king here as soon as he leaves his citadel. Now, I've got our 2 locations right here. I've got Sargat and Varon Castle. There's at least one argument to be made for immediately going offensive, but I would love to neutralize the prince here first. Okay, the Valandians. They'll pay us money for peace, right? We like that one. Let's see if we can get any more peace here. How much influence do we need? We need another 100. Let's just look around here and see if there's any kind of targets of opportunity. We got peace with the wrong kingdom. We don't need much influence at this stage to at least offer peace to the Botanians. Oh, shit. And here's your green light. Grunwalder's going to get captured. He's running for his life. I wish we could get peace. We're going to loiter. Now, it doesn't mean the Botanians won't turn right back around and attack Varon Castle. In fact, I just realized, you know what you do here? You attack the remnants of this, right? Let's see what happens here. I'm not going to attack 2,600 Botanians, but I might attack 900. Let's see how many survive. It's going to be a lot. And they just captured him. What happened here? Oh, he's trying to run away. And did they just capture him? What happened here? Yeah. We're definitely fighting these 2 armies here. We're going to fight them hopefully in the morning. We don't want to fight them where we can't see. And it's still going to be a challenging battle. We'll probably take all of those prisoners in. And I don't think we have daylight here, but it's a battle we can win, even though it's going to be hard. Our first big battle of this campaign. Good. Or at least of our independence here. And make sure we're on the hardest difficulty. And let's switch our gear around here a little bit. Let me think. Let's at least change this to decreased range taken damage. And I think we'll switch here to the crossbow, right? We've got our arbalest and our heavy packed bolts. We can use this, Savfks. It's okay to be on foot here from time to time. I'm still going to bring a lot of different perks to our force here, right? Our ground forces will still benefit tremendously from me being in the army. Let's make sure we're on the highest troop level here. See, that's why you change it. I want to make sure I have the best troops. Always check that shit before a big battle. And deja vu. We were just here. Isn't this the exact same spot it is? We had a battle here like 2 hours ago against the Botanians. Almost the exact same spot. But this spot over here worked pretty well. Right now we had a different army makeup, I think. We got 3 divisions of crossbow. I wish we had daylight here. We could just try a double reverse slope decline, right? Just 4 tiered lines of crossbow here. Botanians, let's see. They're going to have some Javcav probably. Of course, I didn't look carefully at their army composition. That probably would have been wise. I think this is going to work pretty well, though. We got 1 cavalry dude and then 2 pike divisions, right? So pike divisions, probably putting them where the cavalry's most likely to charge. And let's put our weakest crossbow towards the back. Now, we lost some of our captains here, of course, because we're now just being dumped into big battles. So, let me think here. This guy's a dipshit. 148 crossbow. That's actually not horrible. Shit, it's higher than hers. All right. Okay, I think that makes sense. That division's there. Of course, our wife is our best unit, right? Apart from our main character, our wife is a beast. And that division doesn't really matter. All right, let's see what this shit looks like. I'm probably going to join this first division here. I can shoot from the top of the hill. And it is exactly the same spot. There's nothing I can do about this, though, fellas. Right? You guys understand this. Now, there's a ton of infantry here. They have less cavalry and more crossbow. They have a lot of crossbow, though. So let's try to tuck these pikes in a little bit better. That's the 3rd division, right? Yeah.
Troops! Move! Soldiers! Forward! Troop! Infantry!
We might even run a double square here. Now, the good news is our army is loaded with good crossbow. Look at the names. Admiral Sharpshooter. We might have 100, 150 Admiral Sharpshooters here. This is a battle we can win. Are these guys all sharpshooters? Not all, but our worst division, of course, has tier 4, tier 3 crossbow. But our top 2 divisions there towards the front have murderous crossbow fire.
Hold fire! Hold fire!
And we don't need a horse. What's this guy? Some lord who wants to duel. We'll embrace the duel. Nobody's shooting. It's just you and I. And we got a genius. That's like that Far Side commercial. She's definitely, or that Far Side cartoon. Definitely the School of the Gifted right there. Batanian Lord, School of the Gifted. Oh shit, speaking of the Gifted. I forgot they have thousands of archers. In fact, our cavalryman paid the price too. Holy shit, that was a lot of arrows. Alright, this left side should be stronger. There's skirmishers there.
Forward! Fire! You bastards! Soldiers, fire at will! Move!
And they are rushing in like they're on fire here. And they are just melting too as fast as they can.
Forward!
6th Division can charge on that far side. All those various different cavalry charging. We'll just hope they do the best they can. That was some good looking death spam. The Rhodoks are just ripping it. I want that 6th Division up this hill. Let's also charge at the 5th and move the 7th a little closer. I got to get pressure up that hill. Make sure their archers can't just stick 80 archers right on the edge of the ridge here. They're trying. You just hold the ridge right here, right? We're not going over. I got to watch my flanks to make sure I don't get shot point blank. That looks good. That looks good. They're charging tons of cavalry, and it's like ghostly cavalry. They're coming in the dark, and I can't see a lick over there. I mean, they're in the trees, they're in the dark, and this division is all but destroyed. Are they regrouping? It looks like it. We might have an opportunity here to gun down some Batanians. I see Fiend Champions trying to regroup.
Archers! Forward! Archers! Stand apart!
Let's get to this ridge fast. Let's push the 5th off to the side.
Move!
Now, we have hardly any infantry left, so this infantry line is definitely going to get brutalized. Let's stand here like men while our Rhodoks work from behind. We can charge with the 4th and 7th. Those two divisions are going to run out of ammo soonest. And these guys here can just hold the line. I think some of their forces just routed, which would be amazing. We basically don't have to fight half of their forces. That'll get us some influence. And an easy victory here. We don't just beat the Botanians, we crush the Botanians. Look at our sharpshooters. 125 of them, only 6 were injured, and they smoked Botanians here. That's beautiful. Alright, let's make some friends here. The Mad King is not totally insane. We'll take a few prisoners here. And how insane is that, right? We just get an unbelievable amount of troops. Can't use them all. I'm trying to think what the hell we're supposed to do all these. If I take all these troops into our army, we won't be able to move. Nothing's going to attack us either. There's not much point in me taking all those troops. I mean, we can get money for them, but we're not worried about money in this campaign. And unless I can recruit them and keep them, the prisoners don't hold much value either. If we needed money, we would definitely go through the drudgery of picking up all those troops, but we don't have a fief close. Those troops are going to desert like crazy, and our garrison had like 400 and something troops, so not that important. I would like Abcomer Castle, though. What we could do, I mean, we just destroyed a lot of Botanians here. How many forces are inside there? It was like 300. We could try sieging this quickly. Abcomer Castle is one of the best defending castles. If we had Abcomer, Veron, Sarget, and Legetta, we would have just an ironclad center of our kingdom here. Now, see, we're getting mass deserters. The Mad King is getting deserters. Now, how much influence do we get there? Right away, there's something I can do for the deserter size, right? We can now pass this policy, Royal Guard. We lose influence, but 60 more party here is pretty valuable. I might be able to keep most of the troops I have right now, right? We should be at like 300 now, 310. It'll take a second to update. Right, so we're only 30 over now. Let's see. Looks like we can share some forces here too with these guys. He can take 14. We're going to be able to keep most of these troops here. In fact, I kind of regret not keeping a few more of the higher end troops. We're going to get deserters because they're not our like faction, but that doesn't happen immediately. Usually there's a time period of a week or two before you start losing non-RHODOK units. 13. All right, just like that. No deserters for us. I think we can blast this siege, but there's still going to be a Botanian blowback for this, right? They're going to send troops. They're not offering peace, though, right? So one of the things you can try to do to get peace is take their shit, right? Win the war. We'll accept peace with everybody except the Rhodoks. We're not giving them peace, right? We're definitely going to fight. We're the Mad King, right? We've got to at least have a showdown against Grunwalder. We laughed at him being captured by Botanians, though. That was hilarious. I wish I could have participated. I would have ran him down. All right. 1, 2, 3. We should be able to siege by tomorrow evening, maybe? We've got good engineering skill. Our character's definitely going to out siege pretty much any castle. And I think here we'll just let that trebuchet go. It's going to just blast right through these guys. The only question now from an RNG level is, does it waste a lot of time attacking the walls? Here comes the Botanian horde. They're getting behind somebody. You see that activity? There's Botanians coming our way. Fuck. How many is that? The garrison's going to sally out. These lords are going to sally out. But it might be at a similar spot as it was before. Let's just hold the line here. Yeah, you're about to. And it's even more than that last battle. But we saw that last battle. We definitely weren't pressed by this Botanian force. And just for some variety's sake here, let's go ahead and mix it up here. We did fine with our falcons, but this is a lot more fun just to spear horses. Of course, if we were fighting Valandia, 100% of the time you do this, right? 234, that's a pretty nice one too. All right. Hey, it's a different spot. That's kind of nice. All right, now we can really use our range advantage here, right? This is sweet. We've got a huge, long, sloping firing galley. for our enemy forces here. This is like custom made for the Rhodoks. I dare say that every battlefield the Rhodoks are going to succeed. The only battlefields that are going to be really hard for them are highly congested battlefields where it's super lumpy and you can't get line of sight. Our pikes here, I think, are a liability. We'll watch to see what their cavalry does, but we don't have very many pikes. I think mostly we have shielded infantry. I don't see any pikes in there at all. So our shields here, of course, are going to form either squares or shield walls to fend off their ranged attack. They're going to be firing javelins at us. And I like this 6th Division being in a line open formation because they can all use their little slings that way, right? In the 8th Division, we've got these volunteer cavalry. They can just cover that flank like that. We've got a reserve division of crossbow back here. They can hold fire initially. I may move forward a little bit here. It seems to me like we have better line of sight down the hill a little bit here. This is where it's super nice to have a horse. Yeah, see the angles here. I want these guys right in there. Look at that angle. That's just so savage downhill on the enemy. 1st Division right here. Let's tuck them kind of near the wall. That way, if they get pressed against the wall, they won't have anywhere to move, right? They have Jav Cav. They'll get bound up there. 4th Division over here. 5th Division right on top of this ridge. And then the 7th Division can just be a reserve safe division towards the back of our forces. And that's where we can use our pikes. We can put those pikes back there to help those guys. And now you just wait for them to be within range, right? For this kind of a battle, I would say good range for the enemy is like maybe 160 meters. We've got a lot of ammo here, but we're also going to have to fight multiple waves of enemies. And they actually have a lot of cavalry here. They have 200 something cavalry. So even more important that we bind them up here with cavalry. I don't think they're going to attack this flank too much, right? They're Jav Cav. So generally speaking, not always, but generally speaking, a lot of their cavalry is going to attack our left flank first. Now let's join this division here. This feels like the manly thing to do. Maybe not always the smartest thing to do.
Line formation!
All right. Right about here, you open fire.
Foot fire! Omen!
Gonna hold fire with the 7th for the longest here. That's 7th Division. That's our reserve in this instance here. It's nice to have ammo late in a battle. If you run out of ammo in a situation like this, you can really run into problems. You get in a shooting gallery or a ranged battle where you don't have any kind of ammo, and obviously it's gonna go badly for you. All of this time in this campaign, we have not found any legendary or really nice crossbow. As soon as we start fighting Grunwalder, though, that might change. These guys are just coming straight up in here again. The AI has this brilliant tactical approach. It's called run forward and then look confused and get shot to death. Wow! We've got a good flanking angle here. The 7th can fire too now. We're going to start getting hit with tons of javelins. I don't see their cavalry yet. Their cavalry over there is moving up. But their infantry is being blown up here. Oh, that guy. Oh, shit. Sorry, dude. The 4th Division is vulnerable here, but that is our best crossbow, right? That guy being beaten on there. He's going to be able to fight. These guys have like 200 one-handed skill. And we're going to start throwing javelins over here. Here comes cavalry. I'm going to sit here right in this square. I'm trying not to get hit with javelins. And their cavalry is jammed up pretty good here. The death spam looks amazing as our various different crossbow work. I can actually start risking a few shots here from the back. Anybody stood up or that goes by me here, run into that wall there, guy. And it's just camels flying everywhere as they get smoked. Their infantry looks like it got annihilated. You fell off your horse, dude. conserve ammo with that 4th. There's not very many enemy forces here in general, in fact. Let's just see what's going on. 6th. Skirmishers can pull back. Let's split this guys up too. These guys have slings. Those guys can use their slings now that they're out of their square. And they did a tremendous job. You know what? This Battanian force is fucking routing. They bash their heads against the wall there. Look at the numbers going up on the bottom there. That's this force fleeing the scene. Might as well at least kill this cavalry. We got some ammo here, but that was a fucking complete drubbing here. And it's a great situation for us. We're uphill with lots of crossbow against and slingers against weak Battanian cavalry. Admittedly, it's an advantage for us here, but you don't see whippings like this very often. In fact, let's just charge. Now that we've done the hard tactics, we can have everybody charge. And unless they're regrouping at the bottom of the hill here, I think this battle is over. Nothing left now to do except kill some horsemen. I'm not calling you a coward. I'm calling you smart for running. You guys never had a chance. Our troops just cheered, and oh my god. Alright, so it's conceivable, maybe, that the Rhodoks are a little bit overpowered. I don't know, Jarl. I'm going to probably share this episode with you ahead of the release on YouTube. Because otherwise this might come out a couple weeks from the date that I'm making this. We had 5 dead and just completely destroyed this Battanian force. And they're wearing penis helmets. That doesn't help them. But they never had a chance. And we get a huge amount of troops. When it rains, it pours. And all these different things that we're trying to do to make things harder, and it doesn't seem to matter at all. This RHODOK force is just king of the world. Fuck. I mean, we're getting nice gear. That's fucking sweet. And we get the castle too, right? Because the garrison sallied out. That was the easiest castle siege I've ever been involved in. All right, let's stack the garrison here. We're not done yet in this campaign. We're still going to do some work. Even though right there, that was the definition of a mic drop battle. That was insane. These are all my troops. I have 693 troops. Oh, because I pulled the garrison. Right. We'll leave some scrubs here. We've got to leave some forces here. The Battanians are definitely going to siege this, but we're going to immediately sue for peace with the Battanians. What I'm hoping is that them being at war with the Rhodoks, and maybe after that battle, they're eager to have a little bit of peace with us here. I would, you know, if I fought somebody and that was the result and charged them with twice their forces and didn't even dent their units, I would, yeah, I'd be like, peace? Well, yeah, you can have my wife. Give us peace. Like, they would be begging for peace after that battle. And our force here is upgrading too. What's scary is getting stronger very quickly. Now, these troops here will still desert, I'm pretty sure. You put the non-culture units here, these legionary. In fact, I'm going to keep some of these guys because of that. I've got to put some of our troops here into the garrison. 150 sharpshooters we've got. So I want to leave a good-sized garrison here so it doesn't get insta-sieged, because we're going straight from here to Legetta, I think. 450. Yeah, let's go to Legetta here. Legetta, of course, is... let me think here. Optimally, you keep the... Who's that? That's somebody sending us a message. Oh no, never mind. Optimally, you keep a little layer of Rhodoks in between us and the Western Empire, because then the Western Empire is much more likely to attack the Rhodoks, right? Unless the Western Empire all of a sudden declare peace with them, right? Then they're going to attack. Uh-oh. It looks like they already have peace with them. That's a problem. All right, we got some influence here. Let's see what we can do diplomatically. A lot of times you can just ask for peace, right? Look, I can get peace with Battania right away. The Western Empire and the Rhodoks I can't, though. So right away, let's go ahead and ally here, or at least let's get some peace with Caladog. They're happy to get all those prisoners. And that gives us kind of an ally here, right? In fact, we can't do it now. It says we're not neighbors. I disagree. We might seek an alliance. Now, of course, I don't know how many people want to ally with the Mad King. Overburdened here? Men within prisoner size. Whoops. Oh, yeah. That's a problem. We have 500 prisoners. And there's no ransom broker at a castle. Right? I can't get influence, right? I can't put these guys in a dungeon and get influence, so they're just a hindrance here. All right. We release all these Botanians. We'll call that role-playing. Right there, thrilled with us. Now this guy. Her. Here's where you start sniping minor clans, right? We're looking for minor clans. And this is him. This is the guy right here. So, unless he changes his trajectory, we can't catch him. But we're looking for guys like that at this stage, right? And wait a minute. We've got way too many troops. I'm lucky we didn't have deserters yet because, of course, I took the whole garrison here. I've got to shove a bunch of these troops onto our characters. This is the kind of stuff that a lot of times I just edit straight out of a campaign. But today we're going to try to just have, with the exception of reloading without that mod, we're going to try to have just an uninterrupted stream here. I thought about doing today live. There's a lot of guys that want to watch me live. Now that I'm retired, I'm not working, as a full-time firefighter as often. I'll explain that in a second, the often part. I'm a little bit more available to streams, but honestly, my wife doesn't like it. She feels like she's competing with the stream. When I'm just making episodes like this, she can come in and I'll either pause and talk to her about something, or oftentimes what I'll do is tell her the window that I'm doing it. Like, hey, I'm going to make an episode this morning from 9 to 10. And then she knows to not come in. A little different with the stream, right? Because, of course, there's presumably fellas watching, and they're putting aside time in their day to watch. I always feel compelled to, to stream uninterruptedly. So we may stream more in the future. We'll see. All right. This gives us influence, which we need, right? At this stage, influence is valuable. We're up to 266. Trying to think if there's any other... I think we have some pretty good policies already. A lot of your policies carry over, right? So they didn't this time. Usually your policies carry over. So let's take a look at our loyalty here. Okay, our loyalty's slipping, but it's slow. I think a lot more important here is troops. Let's go ahead and do bolster the militia. This will help all of our locations. Our two castles and our city will benefit from that. Lots more militia. And I should also probably do the policy that gives us more influence. It's somewhere in here. I can never remember. Here's the one, right? Ruler clan gets 3 influence per day. Costs 100 to initiate this, but it pays for itself in 30 days, right? And we don't have any non-ruling clans. So even though that ate up my influence, now suddenly each day we're making more. That's basically a Bannerlord version of a savings account. Now, I always forget about this pass here. You can push through there. Apcomer is probably safe. And of course, Botania, we now have peace with Botania. So we could start to involve ourselves in war there, but I would love to add Legetta to the clan. Right, that puts us right up against the Western Empire. That's the bad news. But we're also going to seek peace early on. And I was thinking, faction Kingdom of the RHODOK. I thought we might get RHODOK units from those villages. Evidently not. All right, now I may break this off, right? We can't lose Sargat. Sargat has 630. If it gets sieged, I'll turn around right now. The good news, Callius has been besieged by RHODOK. Look at this, right? The AI is involved in a war against Valandia. That's good news for us, right? That's at least some of the RHODOK attention being turned to Valandia. Of course, if you remember, we basically caused a huge amount of war right before we left the RHODOK, and they're still dealing with the consequences of that. So this is very deja vu. Maybe we'll edit this, maybe not. There's 700 defenders here. I'm at least going to take you up to the launching of this, because if we get sieged somewhere else, or if we get attacked here, we'll have to change our role. And here they come. We might get our first big RHODOK versus RHODOK battle. What do we got here? We've got a huge amount of lethal crossbow. That's what we have. How many do we have in our army? It's not as many as I thought. Our companions here don't have that many. Pike guards. So we got a lot of pikes. We'll have a pike and shot battle. Pike and shot versus pike and shot. Oh, that's lovely. We're getting quests to come back, right? So it might only be 6 troops or something, but each one of those quests is troops that are coming back. That's a nice thing. And this is starting to look ominous. That's 600 right there. And they're starting to get finicky, right? They're running around sort of irregularly. Did my trebuchet already get destroyed? Serious? There's a huge garrison here. Of course, We put some of this garrison here. In fact, let's take a peek. RHODOK River Guard, Admiral Sharpshooters, 63. Huh. We might abandon the siege just based on what's there. Holy fuck. And there's a lot of food here. I think you abandon. I don't do this very often, but they have... That is incredible. These forces, some of these are ours, right? River Guard, Veteran Crossbow. There's 341 crossbow in this city, and they're winning this siege part. So I hate doing this because I spent days to get over here, but I don't think we want to fight here. I don't think that's a... You know, just like in life or marriage, you pick your battles. That's, I think, a battle we don't want to pick. Where's our fleet? Is this our fleet? Oh, I think that's our fleet, but I can't get to it unless I take the city. That's kind of a strange process. All right, well, that's confusing. Let me think here. Now, that was my plan, but I didn't realize there'd be that kind of a defense force there. All right, best laid plans. You know what they say about them. I wonder if we can... I think in a RHODOK versus a RHODOK battle, you want like 80% crossbow, right? It's obviously coming. They're forming an army. They're coming in this direction. So I think let's go ahead and fine-tune our army here just a little bit. We have plenty of good troops here too. Lots of crossbow. Let's get some shields. See, I don't want pikes. Against the RHODOK, I don't think you want pikes, right? So I'm going to dump some. In fact, she had a bunch of pikes, right? Yeah, way too many pikes. The Sarge is good. Those are shielded guys, but we don't want all these pikes here. To fight a huge RHODOK battle, we're going to want a lot of pikes, or a lot of crossbow and a lot of shields. Let's load up. And these River Guard, these guys are crossbow as well, so let's see. These guys will desert. And then these really low level ones, we definitely don't want a big battle where the last 100 of our troops are a bunch of ghetto Battanians. The Legionnaire would be nice, right? If we can have Legionnaire in a battle, those are tough shielded units, 350. We can take another 40 or 50 of these troops here. We've been stashing up troops for this moment. They're not all highest level, but those are good looking troops. And of course, we can always do this shit, right? Now that I have 400 units in my army right now, we can just do this shit. Right, like that, and then turn over all this shit. Look at the experience just explode on these troops, right? We're going to be able to get all of these guys to another level or two. 50,000. That is beautiful. Now we're starting to go through some of our expensive loot too. I'm not sure I want to just completely remove our ability to raise funds. Right, we only have 500,000 here. When you go independent, normally we recommend less experienced players do at least 2 million. Right, we're obviously going independent really early in this campaign. And it seems like you get more than 45 upgrades from all those, all that experience. What did we just give up? Like 60, 60,000 EXP, but it's still good. And I think we've got ourselves pretty close to a doom stack here. We definitely have some lower level troops, but we literally have like 200 Admiral Sharpshooters in our army here. This is a RHODOK doom stack, if I've ever seen one. In fact, I've got a few too many troops here. It's fine. We'll lose some of these troops here. All right, let's figure out where this army's going and see if we can't destroy them. Like, that's always priority in a campaign, is counterpunching. But in this instance here, I might be able to counterpunch them in the open. And she's got 400, 500, 600. I don't think she'll attack yet, and we don't really want to chase her into the castle. So another army or two, and we'll definitely engage her. We could look to see if there's a village to defend. Let's take a walk around the lands here. Sometimes you can pick your battle spot, just like Napoleon before the Battle of Austerlitz, right? If you have a really favorable terrain, it can be. And is this that village again? This is that village way up on the hill. I don't remember this landscape ever from before recently. I had a village battle. I think it was part of this campaign with that landscape. And where are they going? They're going the other way. They're heading to Abcomer Castle. Yeah, that makes it a lot easier, but it's also boring because it's the same terrain. think we'll try to run down this force and fight them before they get there. I don't know. They might straight run from us the whole time, right? The correct thing to do for sure. They are running from us. See if they make it in here. Well, you can hide Botania or Rhodoks, but you can't hide forever, right? Eventually we're gonna catch your ass. And it might be indeed that same bridge battle area here, but you just don't pass up an opportunity here to fight this kind of force. Now this is interesting here too. Theoretically, they can play defensive, right? With all their different crossbow here, because we're the aggressor. Generally speaking, it's better to be the defender in crossbow battles. We'll see what this looks like here. I'm gonna commit. Our main character, he's kind of tapped out. We're very slowly gaining points, and we're almost level 32, which is going to help a lot, but we're not quite there yet. All right, well, at least it's a different spot on the map here. Now, if we're really lucky, and if the AI shits the bed here, they will try to get aggressive with us here. If they're smart, if the AI acts in a way that I would consider appropriate, they will peel back. Even better is like to try to defend the bridge. I don't think those are likely outcomes. But we'll see what they do here. They're 400 meters away. We've got our 4 divisions that are holding fire. And we've got a manifestly powerful force here. I don't know if it could be much stronger than this. We could spend, you know, a little bit of time tinkering with it. But we've got Legionary too. And it does look like they're... I was going to say, it does look like they're... Well, that's too bad. It would work if they were uphill, but it's not going to work at all like that right there. They're like downhill in a ring defense. That ain't going to work for you lads very well. Now, they are going to get some crossbow off because it is their wide ring defense, right? You can hear the slings and the crossbow fire whistling by me here. But this force is not just going to lose here. They're going to get completely obliterated because we have tactics, right? We're going to be able to make them charge. Not just that, I think we can make them come to the bridge here. I'll walk you guys through this. Maybe some people would consider this an exploit here. Of course, the first thing you do is you put shields out in front, right? We're just going to put a nice little shield wall line there for them to shoot at. And then the best crossbow up on the ridge here. They've got some high-paced music playing. It's probably aggravating somebody. And we help you fellas out. A little bit of editing here. That way you don't have to listen to that. Now, pikes don't need to be part of this battle at all. I mentioned that earlier. I don't even really want pikes in this kind of a battle. We've got a shield wall line here drawing lots of attention, and that's going to allow our other crossbow to set up and just put in withering fire. Because the enemy's more densely packed than our units here, we're going to be able just to get horrific kill spam on this foe. I think we also probably have better overall crossbow in a battle like this. And here's the other element at play here. Unfortunately, we know that the AI will eventually change their tactics in a situation like this. The reason they do that is they basically, if they're suffering serious losses, they charge, right? They like, this strategy ain't working, we've got to do something. Well, we can use that to our advantage here and just cause mass horrific murder. I could do it either at the bridge here. If they had a huge amount of troops, I would set up a bridge defense, but we don't even have to do that. I've got a reverse slope decline here. I could just put this crossbow division right here in this little tucked in bowl area. They don't need to shoot here initially. And we're just going to kite into an absolute death factory. This 6th division can pull back out of there as well. In the next 30 seconds, this force is going to charge us. In fact, I underestimated how quickly they were going to do that. Now, they're coming our direction here. And once they start coming in your direction, they don't change that strategy, right? They're going to continue to charge all the way up here. So now, we can set up our units here at our leisure. And they're going to get completely shattered as they cross the edge of this little ridge here. You see how I can't see them? That's what they're going to have to cross here. Now, they're coming in a hurry, right? These guys here are in a real big hurry to get killed. And that's what's going to happen to them, right? They're just going to get shredded. Especially since we can square that 6th. This 6th division can break off to the right side and use slings and whatnot. And it would be hard for us to have more concentrated fire than we do. right here. It's just horrific crossfire. I should have switched to a sword for this battle. There's no horses to kill. And you hear them yelling and screaming as they come over that ridge. They can't attack. This is going to be worse than the Botanian battle because of their army makeup. Their guys are just being scorched. All you hear is... Now they just got reinforcements. And it's just more pigs to the slaughter here. We've got a skirmisher division over there. Listen to that fire, too. God, that's horrific. They just gotta keep blocking. Shield slam that guy to death. Oh, you know what? I wonder if this is still functional. Earlier in this campaign, we were doing great work just by slamming guys with our shield. I couldn't tell if it's a bug or not or what. Because I have to be attacking them. So for some reason, I think it must have been the pike we were using. It was causing huge damage on shield slams. It's definitely not working anymore. They're holding out a lot more resolutely than I anticipated here, but this battle is way over. Like it's a clown battle. There's another force here that's just completely shredded by our ferocious RHODOK force. This first division can get their kill on too. Might as well send those dogs in. They're whipping out the slings. Now, more reinforcements. We like that, right? More guys to kill. We need the influence. Bring more next time. Our first division's going up and starting to pulverize shit. I think if we do have 4 deaths here, I'll have killed 3 of them. Look at our 6th division rampaging. It's great. Might as well let those pikes get into the action as well. And there's some low-level crossbow out there trying to shoot at us. You can see their little poorly clad bodies. They all look small. They're malnourished. Now we're suffering some losses here because they do have a lot of crossbow on the left flank here. But very soon our divisions are going to peel over that ridge. In fact, we can help them get up here sooner. And start shifting to a two-hander. And our character's now fast enough that he moves around the battlefield. This guy moves. And I can literally just outrun these guys and aggro half of them, and the rest are going to get shot to death. And our first RHODOK on RHODOK battle, not much contest here, as our forces are just a lethal murdering squad. Our companions are obviously a little bit more dialed into the divisions they're leading, right? The AI generally just kind of slops their captains into a division and hopes it works well. They have good commanders, right? There's just some random commander, and she's better than any of our companions, with the exception of maybe our wife. Right? Our wife is a beast, but they're not optimized. They have random banners and stuff like that. Now we will take some high-end prisoners here. Some of their high-end prisoners, eventually you recruit them. We can make money too, but there's no ransom broker anywhere near. We've got a nice little prisoner stash building up for emergencies. Right now, I don't know what that is. Like, at this stage, it doesn't really feel like there's a significant challenge coming our way. Now, you could still face 2,800 here, and you're captured for sure. The limitations on tactics, in my opinion, most of the time is about outnumbered 2.5 to 3 to 1. Once you get past that, it just becomes impossible to win battles. Now, let me think here. There's probably good troops here, too, right? We took it. And so what happened? A lot of our troops ended up in the garrison. We got to bump up our influence, but again, this is free. Now, that minor clan already left us. I didn't even see it happen. So we're on our own here. The good news, though, is if we wander into Botanian territory, not only we maybe find opportunities, but we might also find minor clans. Because we're at peace with the Botanians, their minor clans will be approachable. Right now, we can't even approach minor clans from a lot of other kingdoms because we're at war with them. Let's explore that, too. We've got plenty of influence. And predictably, neither of these kingdoms are willing to give us peace. Now, the easiest way for sure to play here is just to play defensively, right? Just to sit around our 3 different locations here. Even easier would be to try to get into castles and defend them. It would be insane what this force could do inside a castle. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say when you have 150 Rhodoks sharpshooters that with keep defense that you could defend against 10,000. Because they're going to be coming over to the ridge in the most unbelievable, especially like a Abcomer castle, where the defenses here, it's like they were made by the god of war himself. You take a walk around this castle here, is probably a top 3 castle in the game. We're not going to get an opportunity to defend it unless, you know, I try something stupid where we sneak in 700. But it's an upsloping hill, and most importantly, the gatehouse is surrounded by a firing squad here of different angles. Both locations that the ladders come up are extremely defendable, right? The defenders inside the castle have all of this Botanian frog-infested land to defend, and if things go badly, you still have the inner keep, which is also incredibly destructive. You can get all your admiral sharpshooters around here and just have a complete circular firing squad. I'm still at a loss of what to do, right? Going offensive is much harder than going defensive. And I want to try to keep our locations safe, right? When you first make a kingdom, you're not taking a city like that. It's got to be something closer. Char's does make sense to me. I think before we even get to Char's, though, we're going to get counterattacked, right? They're going to continue to make new armies. And, of course, if we run down to Char's, Abcomer Castle is probably the most vulnerable location. Whatever, our army here is virtually undamaged. I mean, that's not completely accurate, but, you know, with the exception of some low-level troops at the bottom here, we're like barely even dented. You see that right there? Those little signs there? That's Company of the Boar. They're allied with the Sturgeons here. They're working for the Sturgeons here. I want to try to intercept these guys. That's not the guy. I think I need...
Stop there, stranger.
Davelbard. I'm hoping he's in here. If he's not... Yeah, he's not. We can't add him. We really need some help here, right? If we could get an army of 1,200, we might even make a player clan. I could make a clan and then we could have a separate army. I think let's go for Charis, right? Let's go for the gold in this campaign. Again, for sure, the best thing to do would be to play defensive. I think we're going to have to turn around, but let's go ahead and try this. What do we got going on here? See, you can just let these dipshits do dumb stuff, too. Yeah, come with us.
I don't want...
I don't want... Yeah, we do. We want you to come with us. I was hoping we would get a badass crossbow by this stage, but this whole campaign, I've been using basically the same crossbow. Just haven't had... I mean, of course, part of the reason is we're not fighting the Rhodoks. We are now, right? And big battles against them is where you're going to get your legendary, your mastercraft equipment. And this one could be quick, right? There's a small defense force here. Let's try a hyper siege here. Even if those catapults and trebuchets don't blow up their siege, unless they have like 3 fire catapults, we're going to launch the siege here because speed is of the essence here. There's a possibility that RHODOK forces are doing this, that they're heading here, and that's a threat. But much bigger threat is them sieging, say, Varon Castle, something that's 5 or 6 days away. I don't think we can get there in time. And I might reserve it here for just a second. And obviously, if we take a city and lose a castle, it's such a small incremental gain in the campaign. All right, boys, go to work there. As soon as that siege tower is up, I think we'll launch this siege. We'll do a hyper turbo mode siege. There's already like 600-700 guys here. 6 or 7. Our catapult got smoked. And I tell you what, dude, sometimes siege really betrays you. I think what he's doing is attack spread. Right? The last thing you want when they have siege weapons is for your archers to be like this, right? You lose 50 guys to the catapult shot. Let's get some captains chucked in here. We might as well. All right, now I gotta watch out myself for the fire catapult.
Footmen! Move forward! Archers! Move forward! Loose
Heads up,
formation!
lads. Right, it didn't hit anybody, or maybe it hit one guy there. That's a pretty good result.
Move! Move! Stand apart!
And now, most of the losses we take here are going to be simply
Forward!
the damage we take from that fire catapult. Oh, those guys back there are jammed up. What the fuck division is that?
Soldiers! Footmen! Move! Yeah! Archers! Move! Soldiers! Loose formation!
At least spread them out. They can still push the ram and spread formation. You don't have to have them all jammed together. And that's this third.
Infantry! Footmen! Move! Infantry! Soldiers!
These guys here can start applying pressure. And this siege is going to go fast. We don't need to show you the rest of this. The fire catapult now can't hit most of our troops. So it's a firing squad. They might take down the siege tower. In fact, it's pretty likely. I don't actually see it firing. That's weird.
Attack!
And 3/4 of their force is dead before we even go in. They're getting firing squatted on the walls. Oh shit, good work, lads. They blasted that guy right off the walls. And this siege is over.
Attack!
All right, well, that's good offense for us, right? Take a city with like 100 losses, maybe less. I don't even need to go through the gates. It's not necessary. The enemy's already dead. Now, this is another defendable Valandian city. I guess we'll call this a RHODOK city. Originally in this campaign, it was Valandian. Look at this nice downward slope to the gate. It's compacted. I would demolish that house if I was the governor here, or maybe I'd put a wicked siege tower there or something like that. But this is a definite good city to take, whether you're playing Valandia, Rhodoks, or even the Aserai, right? Some guys watching this are going to start a campaign with the Aserai. I haven't considered playing against the Rhodoks in a campaign, but conceivably, right? That's definitely something we can do, and I don't need these prisoners. We already have too many prisoners. Yeah, now I'm aware I can turn them in for money, but we can't turn them in for influence. That's interesting. I haven't really thought about that before. We could make a companion clan and then turn them in for influence, right? We can turn prisoners over to them. I don't know how that works. Does it suck influence from them? All right, that's ours. That's too much of a garrison. What I'm going to do here is keep the good troops and turn away the bad. So let's just take something like that. We'll leave a modest garrison here. It's nice to have on some levels a bait location, right? That's very likely to be sieged by the enemy soon. There's a minor garrison here. There's a small amount of militia. We'll just leave them, 80 troops or something like that, and we'll see how quickly the enemy comes running. The rest of these troops we want to take with, and we need to get food here, right? These cities are going to be vulnerable. When you start taking your cities when you go independent, you got to get food to those locations. If we had money problems, any city we went to, we could just instantly take all the money. We still got 500,000. We're in good shape. Let's make sure it's making militia here. Right, let's cancel some projects. Make militia. It's time for a couple more policies too. These are sort of axiomatic, automatic policies in your campaign. Cantons, right? Increase daily militia production, and it makes better quality militia. Land grants for veterans, right? What this is going to do, looks like we already have it. I don't know where it went. Usually it's at the bottom. There it is. They moved it on me just to keep things lively. What that does is it gives us better militia in our different locations. We can do forgiveness of debts. Should be an automatic one. It just automatically makes your cities more loyal, right? Two loyalty per day, and the expense is very minor. This is a good one to do as well because we're going to have military battles that get us influence. We might as well have even more. And there's one more I like to do consistently. It's, if we can find it. We'll see. I'll have to see if it comes to mind, but that's a good start, right? Of course, you guys can always leave comments to your favorite policies, but that's a nice daily amount of influence. Now we're going to gain heaps of influence from battles, and critically, the militia is going to start building faster in our locations. So let's hit. These guys might even attack us here. First, let's make sure we don't get deserters. I do this all the time. I gather the forces from the garrison, and then I run out and suffer fucking 100 deserters because my force has all the troops. And these guys are starting to level up, right? These are some of our dipshit companions I made fun of earlier in this campaign. That's the nature of it, right? And I must say that the Jarl's tendency as a coder is to make the companions lower level but higher upside. And I think most players would be happy with that concept. Basically, they start out with weaker skills from the outset, but they're lower level, and so you have more control over their path, right? You can make them more specialized in your certain areas instead of having troops that have, you know, a huge amount of useless skills that you don't want. You know, they will have skills in areas that you can actually benefit from. Now, it's interesting. It says I can't use civilians, so presumably civilians on some level are going to ditch us as well, and that's even more worthless. I don't know why those are Imperials, if that's a bug. I guess because it's Thractori Castle, right? So that castle, you can see the culture shift there. RHODOK 63%, 0 years, 63 days left. What that's saying is that has to be under RHODOK control for another 3 months, right? Three 20-day months of Bannerlord time. And then I think those will be RHODOK units at that location. And that's what I meant about it being bait. And not just that, it's a little tiny force that we're going to be able to smash with our little pinky. I even have the time here to run here, get some prisoners, not get some prisoners, but get more troops. I'm going to gather forces here from this garrison too, right? We don't need 460 here. So I'm just going to click. Just add 2 or 3 different high-level divisions here because we want there to be some high-level troops at Charis. And then I'm going to go to the scrubs and bring a good amount. And although I just realized I can't bring all these, let me think what I can do. We've got our 3 parties here. Let's bring some food down there for sure. This guy with 60, I think he can take some troops, right? We definitely have some capacity to ferry troops back and forth. We need to be able to destroy that force, but on the flip side, we don't need all these admirable sharpshooters, right? What this says right here is game over. For our enemies, 209 sharpshooters. Let's put 2/3 of them, or 1/3 of them, into this city. Those troops are just unbelievably elite, and it's overkill to have that many. That'll allow us to ferry even more troops. Right, we've got to get these low-level troops to the city. Down to Charis, we'll bring them some food. I don't know if we can take the rest of these troops. Yeah, okay, we're good. We can actually take another 20. Let's take some mid-tiered troops here. Now, you don't have to do all this, right? I try to cover these steps on a regular basis, partly because at times I'm a perfectionist, like a lot of people, but also, you know, we try to spread as many different possible tips during campaigns as possible. You're sitting there watching, right? Whether you're on a couch or maybe you're at work having some chill time watching some YouTube, right? We want to make sure that what we're doing here is expedient and has value for you, whether you're enjoying my rants or the combat tactics or just tips for your own campaign. We're trying to be, you know, a full service provider, I guess is the right word for it. And I'm going to bring even more food here. We're still not that encumbered. They just started the siege. It's a small force. That affects it, right? A bigger force will build their siege camp faster, and they will begin the siege faster here. I'm going to trudge all the way there, but that's just fine, right? Because we're not going to have deserters, right? We're not going to have deserters, and they're not going to take the city before we get there, right? Even if another army showed up, right now it'd be fine. I wish they had 2,600. That way we could get inside and defend. 600 is just going to be like, you know, it's very tempting to auto-resolve. And who's this guy? This guy might be help. Harathios. At this stage of a campaign, you're always looking for help, right? So you're looking for the leaders of minor clans. You should have your eyes peeled out for those kind of situations. There's a minor clan inside there. I don't know where Davelbard is. Now, I was saying earlier he's part of Sturgia. He's not. This blue color, that's their baseline color. If he was part of Sturgia, I think it would be a darker blue here. And I could wait for the siege to start to make it even more abusive, but we don't need to. This will be a quick battle. I'm going to fight it still. What I've noticed so far with the Rhodoks, for you fellas out there, is the auto-resolve with the Rhodoks is awful, terrible. I think the system doesn't give them enough credit, and certainly with good tactics, it's dramatically better, right? If we auto-resolve this battle, in fact, here, let's give it just a very brief demonstration. I bet we can auto-resolve 10% of their force. Here, so we'll send until they lose 10 to... All right, so they've lost about 110 troops here, and we have 53 casualties in our force. Yeah, we want to retreat, because we're basically getting a 2-to-1 kill ratio by auto-resolving. Especially with this location. This is going to be hilarious. Not just the location, but with the army composition we have. It's very crossbow heavy, and it's shield heavy, right? You got to know your enemy and how to fight them. Let's see if they try to approach us here. They're actually infantry heavy, which is even easier to kill. We'll put our crossbow up on the top of the ridge here so they can kite into a kill box. This 6th division is slingers, so we might as well put them up high where they can also participate. And we can speed this along here because this force is going to get blasted. Now they're actually not approaching. I thought they were coming to us there for a second. And it's smart for them to play defensive. It's still not going to save them. They'd have to be down a gutter hanging out with the scary clown from It to have any chance here. Yeah, all I'm doing here is scouting out nice line of sight for our troops. They got a couple archers trying to kill me. Can't see here. See how I can't see their troops? So we're just going to drag our whole formation here until we can. Right? In fact, I can hit this button to speed it up a little bit. Hopefully nobody's having a seizure. We don't need reinforcements. Our initial force is going to be more than enough to decimate this force. And they're dug in there pretty good. They're like hiding in a bunker almost. But from right here, I can see them. And that's curtains. They're shooting at me. That means we can shoot at them. You know what? I'm not keen on this cavalry. You bitches can stand right there. We're the Rhodoks. We don't like cavalry. And most of these troops that we're setting up here can shoot. Like 5th, 6th, 7th. The 7th can just spread out there. Not every guy there is going to be able to shoot. But we mentioned it before. What's going to happen here? Once they suffer X amount of losses, they're gonna come towards us. Now, they look like they're trying to run even more. The AI is being pretty adaptive here, but they're also running downhill. So it's like they've got it half right. They kind of know what they want to do here, but they're still not able to do it. Now, I'll be really impressed if they go down to the beach. Right, that's what they should. That's what a player would do here. Someone who knew what they were doing, they would get down into that beach defense on this map. There's a little tiny narrow valley, and look at this shit. They're almost like they're listening to me. Yeah, I want you. Oh, shit. Well, that must have been one of their admirals, huh? 174 to the head, and I have maximum armor. Like, the best armor you can buy. And it still one-shot my character. Of course, I guess that's realistic. Don't need our pikes to go down there first. Of course, this was all just supposed to be a demonstration of how easy it is to defeat the enemy in the open field. And they're making it hard. My character is shot to death. Yeah, you know what they've got? They've got to have Admiral sharpshooters. They're doing massive damage at range. Look at the slings. Most of those are sling stones. I love it. Now, pikes have a definitive value with the Rhodoks against cavalry. But against a Rhodok kingdom, once you're trying to go independent, put your pikes away. Right? They're almost worthless. And pretty much everybody can shoot here. Maybe that 5th division can't quite suit. Now they're charging. And they're going to charge into a maelstrom. Let's back the 2nd and 3rd up.
Attack! Kill them all!
Well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe we won't get much better than a 2-to-1 kill ratio doing this. Of course, the way we're approaching this is a little bit sloppy. You know, you kite into a kill box here. They actually have a bunch of crossbows set up pretty well on the other side of the valley here, and we can just fast forward it. There are instances, once in a while, very rarely, where the AI actually does better with auto-resolve, but usually not. And still net here, 130 losses, and we killed 500-600. It's still obviously a better result than the auto result. And they took about the best AI defense they could have made there. It's still not effective enough. And this, it just continues to rain troops. This is definitely going to be feedback I continue to give them. It feels broken to me. It feels like every force has half as many prisoners as their whole force. It's like the AI stopped selling prisoners, right? Normally the AI is designed just like you to go to cities and do all the different things that you do, right? They take a leak, they swing by the brothel, they send all their prisoners to the ransom broker, and they benefit from that, right? The AI actually gets influence, money, all that stuff from that type of an exchange. But it seems like they stopped donating prisoners, right? Because we just have so many prisoners that are pouring out on us consistently. This whole campaign has been like that, and that's definitely been a big part of the snowball. When you're getting, from every battle, when you're getting more prisoners than you lose, you know, the challenge starts to go away, right? Just completely vanish, because you're not suffering any attrition. You don't need to make hard decisions about, oh shit, I don't have any troops. How do I get more troops? Do I have enough? Do I have slightly enough forces here to continue to fight? And I won't be surprised. It seems like our companions are also getting those same troops here. Now, I forgot the whole reason I came here was to dump massive troops and food on the city. So we'll go ahead and do that part here. We can dump all these soon-to-desert troops. And I'm looking for one more big battle for this campaign, but I think we could also easily say at this stage that we're good to go. I guess we can see if we can get peace. That would definitely be a good trigger to say that things are in hands pretty nicely. But now we've got a sizable garrison. Let's see if we can get peace with the old guy Grunwalder. He's interested in peace, right? And so at this stage of the campaign, I'm gonna consider things finished. If we wanted to continue going here, right, if we wanted to continue driving into them, I think we could pretty readily. We just have an incredibly powerful force, right? Once you get 50, even 50 of these guys, you're going to crush it. And we have like 200, right? Because we're not the only ones who have them. Let's see. How do we do this? I can do it like here. We have 150 Admiral Sharpshooters. The Warden is their Tier 5 Slinger. That we have 130 of those. And so at this stage, I'm going to call this campaign and our RHODOK ascendancy complete. We've joined the Rhodoks. We've helped them spread throughout to prosperity in the southwest of the map. We've built our own kingdom. We're friendly now with Grunwalder, even though we betrayed him, brutally betrayed him. And I'm going to wrap this campaign up. This was a nice long session for me. Hopefully for you guys as well. Hopefully you enjoyed this playthrough. Hopefully you learned a few things. And we'll continue to explore overhaul mods as we go. Congrats, Jarl Snow. I think this overhaul mod is extremely well made. Very, very polished. If there were 2 or 3 new battle mechanics here, I dare say this is a sellable product. If you had, for example, the ability to ambush enemies, if you had, for example, the ability to build a castle where you wanted to or something specific like that, you're making money, right, on something like that. You could have a Patreon and say, the only way you can play my mod is to give me some money. Right? Now, I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying, like, ultimately, that's the highest compliment I can make, is when you're making mods that people would pay for, right? The Tales of the Age of Men, they run a model similar to that, and I don't think that you're far off, brother. So, of course, if you like this mod, if you're playing it yourself, please endorse the guy. He doesn't give me any money. I'm not a business partner. He's just a guy who's out there working hard on mods, and I think it's incumbent on the rest of us to support guys like that. He's giving us entertainment after all, and for the large part, it's free. Once you buy War Sales, you can play as a RHODOK Mad King. So, with that said, we're going to wrap this campaign up, this episode up. Thanks for watching again, friends. I appreciate all of you, fellas, ladies, and I will see you next time.